look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And we are back, guys, doing something that we haven't done in a while. And it's just me tonight. Peaches is not here. Jeff is sitting in her chair. It's been 2 years since we've done a podcast together.
It's been a while. You guys, you were still really new into doing podcasts when I did it the first time.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. I looked it up before you sat down so that I could see exactly how long ago it was.
Yeah, me and Angie.
Yeah. So we are going to be talking tattoo, and this is going to be something that we're going to be doing on a bi-monthly basis, like every 2 weeks for like twice a month. And we're going to change who interviews you. So next time we do this, Peaches will be sitting there and you'll be sitting here. And we're going to do this on a regular basis to talk about the tattoo industry.
So I get the captain's chair next time?
You'll get the captain's chair next time. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I like that.
All right. So what are we doing, Jeff? Like we have I have a lot of disdain for the tattoo industry. And as somebody that's been in the industry since 97, like I have watched it shift from, I know it's not the golden days, but to me it was because of what it was at that time frame into what it is now. And I actually can't stand it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're not tattooing that much longer than I am, I don't think. I'm not too sure. How long did you tattoo?
Well, I got in the industry at 97 as a body piercer and started tattooing in 2005 or 2006.
Okay, so I started tattooing full time 2009. So not too much longer than you. I mean, you haven't been doing it too much longer than I had.
Right.
And I started out, when I started out, it was still all the old heads that, you were working with. I worked with a guy, super old guy named Solo. And he was so old school, he still reused his old needles. That's how old school he was.
Wow.
He just had a mason jar. I said this on TikTok the other day. He had a little mason jar, and in that mason jar had holes in the top of it. And he go do a tattoo, he'd just grab a needle out of that mason jar and then flick all the stuff off of it. And he just had some weird concoction that he had in there, like acetone and alcohol or whatever else, Barbasol, which whatever he could put in there. And then he would just dry it off like this, put it in his tattoo machine, tattoo, and then when he was done, he put it right back.
It's so crazy to me. Like I remember when people were making needles, and I remember when that was not an easy purchase. Like buying tattoo needles when they first were pre-made, they were expensive as fuck.
Yeah, I made needles when I first started.
Yeah,
I had to learn how to solder needles because buying them pre-made was crazy expensive. We did all that, sterilized everything, all that stuff. So I was there for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And the shift that it is now, we've shifted from a small amount of tattoo artists that held their territory pretty good to a large amount of tattoo artists and a lot of ego. And that's what we talked about earlier, is the ego is way different than it was. And I don't know if it's just because of the world that we live in right now, or if it's the social media and stuff like that. Anybody gets a little taste of social media fame and they're all of a sudden better than everybody. It doesn't matter if you're good or you're not good. That's like the Ariel DeJesus girl on TikTok. You know who she is? Her name is synonymous for terrible tattoos. Just, if you say that name, terrible tattoo.
Yeah.
But she's got 750,000 followers.
Wow.
So she thinks that she's the best. It doesn't matter how many times somebody tells her she's bad. She's just going to continue to believe that she's good.
Yeah. So when I came into the industry, everybody thought they were rock stars. The tattoo industry was the next step to rock stardom.
Well, that's why I went to the tattoo industry. I'm not going to lie, bro.
Right.
People ask me all the time, why did you get into the tattoo industry? And I always tell them, for the bitches. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude, they told you that you were going to be a rock star, that you were going to be, the person that everybody wanted to hang around.
And you were.
Yeah. I think I got either I'm hit the ass end of where that stopped happening, or I'm just, not very attractive, I think, because it never really worked for me. I got Angie out of it, but I don't think I got Angie because I was a tattoo artist. That stuff never really happened.
Yeah.
Not for me, at least.
Yeah, the rock star mentality was because, especially if you were a tattoo artist, a small town, everybody knew who you were. You couldn't go into public without people trying to talk to you. Like bar scenes were a thing, all of that. But I watched that ego shift from the rock star mentality to the I'm better than you mentality. And that, that wasn't the case. When I was young in the industry, everybody thought that they were better than the next artist. Like that ego was still very much there, but it wasn't like I'm holier than thou. You're going to do what I want. Like that came after Ink Masters. Like,
yeah, I've seen that too. That people say the Ink Masters did it. And I just don't know that it did. I know that people want to blame Ink Masters for the influx of tattoo artists. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
I don't think that's what caused the influx of tattoo artists.
Yeah. I just think it's how easily you can get the supplies for it. And then I guess maybe a little bit if I sit there and think about the Ink Masters thing, if you see it and watch it on video or whatever, it looks like it's easy. It's like we're just tracing some shit, So I guess, people think it's going to be an easy way to make money. And I mean, if you're good at it, then it is an easy way to make money, but
with the Ink Master thing, I don't think it's what's bringing people into the artist. I think the Ink Masters changed the trajectory of tattooing because it became mainstream. Now we're tattooing soccer moms and fucking grandmas and shit. Like it's not, outlaws and criminals, drug dealers and shit anymore.
Right. And it's like back in the time when it was outlaws and criminals, you were perfectly okay with going, I'm not tattooing you or I'm not tattooing that. You can, hit the bricks. But now that it has shifted to the soccer moms and to things like that, tattoo industry has went from hard-nosed people to you have to
accommodate.
Yeah, customer service is massive. If you're not good with customer service in this industry now, you're not going to make it very long. I know terrible tattoo artists that are so good with their clients, booked for a month.
Yeah.
And they're just not good at tattooing, but they're good at handling their clients. They're good at making their client feel like they want them there.
Well, that's what tattooing is. It's an experience. If you look at what tattoo originated as, the ritualistic side of tattooing, there was a lot of meaning and a lot of prep and a lot of things that went into the actual tattoo. That's why we named the shop Sacred Rites.
Yeah.
Sacred Rituals.
Yeah.
But I also think that has changed too. I do believe that it's still about cultivating an experience. The client needs to feel like they're a part of something, and they need to enjoy being in the shop for 8 hours. Otherwise, they're not coming back. But back further just a little bit, I want to go back to the Ink Master thing. I think that with the Ink Master thing, I think the younger people that were watching that show as a kid that had a little bit of drawing ability, maybe that did make them want to get into the industry a whole lot more. But my shift in that also went from people who could do everything that came through the door to I'm only doing traditional, or I'm only going to do Japanese realism. I'm only going to do this style. And you're 6 months into your tattoo apprenticeship. You don't get to make that decision yet. Like
they definitely think that tattooing means that you're going to get to do a list of things. You're going to be your own boss, independent, make your own hours. You're going to make a bunch of money. You're going to get to do all the art that you wanted to do and be an artist and this, that, and the other. And for 99% of tattoo artists, that's not the case. You get none of those things. You're still going to have a boss. It's still going to be, I got to be there at this time. I don't get to leave until this time. And then plus you've got all the other stuff on top of it. Your social medias, you have to market yourself. If you're in a tattoo shop that gives a percentage, then that tattoo shop is the person that usually does all the advertisement, like Sacred Rites, right? They take a percentage, and then they do the advertisement so that the artist, don't have to do that. But we're moving towards a lot of booth rentals. A lot of people are doing booth rentals, and these newer kids don't understand that you got to pay for all that stuff now. Everything. The insurances that you need, which most of them won't even do that, and that's going to bite them in the ass
eventually.
One day. They're not going to carry that insurance that the shop carries to cover them, and it's going to be a real rude awakening when they figure out that it's not as easy as they thought it was, moving to these booth rentals and things like that, or the private studios and stuff, a lot of private studios.
There's no business mindset in that.
No.
Right? So with the difference, like you were saying, between booth rental and percentages is when you're paying a studio a percentage, they're handling everything. You literally come to work, wait for your clients to get there, do your tattoos, provide the photos for marketing, and go home.
That's it.
When you are an owner, or you booth rental, or you private studio, you are literally just renting the booth from somebody else that's a tattoo artist that's not thinking long term.
Right.
I don't think that, I truly don't believe that anybody that's doing booth rental, unless they're really smart investing their money, has a future with a retirement in any way, shape, or form, because there's no way to do that.
Yeah.
But they're, the marketing aspect, Sacred spent just under $200,000 last year on marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. And people don't see it. Even in Sacred, they don't see it. They don't see that you're doing the marketing, the t-shirts and the stickers and all that stuff. They just see it as little knickknacks or whatever, like it doesn't mean anything. And it does. Yeah. It absolutely does. And they would think about it and use that for themselves. It's like something that I do is that the shop pays for the shirts, but my clients don't know that.
Right.
They think I just gave them a shirt. Because I don't just say, oh no, the shop's going to give it to you. I don't do that. I give it to them. And a lot of times, the artist there, and it doesn't matter how many times I tell them because they won't listen. They're young, they don't listen. I just take them up there and hand them the t-shirt. Go with them. Instead, they'll go, oh, you can get a t-shirt on your way out or whatever. It's
not
impersonable. Yeah, you got to you got to make them feel like they're your friend or they're your part of your family or whatever, or at least that you cared that they were there. After all, that they paid your bills this week, or one bill at least, or fed you or something.
I really want to get into that aspect of the conversation too.
The client fee,
the money aspect of it, dude. So I know that like during COVID, you went and got a moving job.
Yeah.
Like we shop was closed for a month. You went and found a job and worked that month to make sure that your kids and family was taken care of. So you got to experience what it is from going to making tattoo money to going back to working regular job money. And that humility and that humbling is necessary because people don't realize that when people come and get tattooed, if they're spending $1,200 or $1,500 on a single day with a tattoo artist, it could have taken them weeks or months to save that kind of money. People in like the food industry, unless it's season where they live or they're on a beach somewhere, they're not bringing in that kind of money.
Right.
Like that is a big ass problem for me too. All of this, my minimum is $200 an hour and all I do is traditional.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times I don't even mind if you have a large minimum or if you have a large hourly rate. I don't even care as long as the work that you're putting out
is justified.
And that's rare. But even in this little town here, even in Port Charlotte, I think there's 3 or 4 people that are charging $250 or $300 an hour.
That's absolutely fucking insane.
I don't charge that. And if I had to put myself in the hierarchy of the people that are in this area anywhere close, I'd be 1 or 2.
I don't think anybody in this town is worth $300 an hour.
I don't think so.
I got to be honest. I wouldn't pay $300 an hour from any tattoo artist.
I would.
I wouldn't.
I definitely would.
That's lawyer money, bro.
I would definitely pay it. 100%. David Vega, I'd pay him his $5,000 day rate all day and not blink if I had it. Ralph Nonweiler, 100% I'd pay his $5,000 day rate if I had it.
It's insane to me.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
But if I did, I would pay it. Just because, but you're talking about those two are the best in the world at what they're doing. There's not even an argument that somebody's better than those two. Not one. And it's 1 or 2. Some people will say Ralph is better because of his textures and such. And then some people will say that Vega's better because of how smooth and saturated his black and gray is. But there's no argument. It's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They're the best in the world. And they're not even charging the most. I seen a video on TikTok the other day where they were going around to people at a convention and was asking what their rates were. And there was some lady in there that was $550 an hour. And then they showed her work and I was like, what in the world? And it stems from the social media following.
Right.
If you get a large, huge social media following, you can charge out the ass for these tattoos and people will pay it. They'll come from forever. I got tattooed by so-and-so off the internet, Yeah.
I get it. We had somebody say that if I went back to the tattoo shop, I could charge $4,000 a day and people would pay it.
Probably.
It's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
I have no interest in going back to the tattoo shop. Like I want to tattoo my friends when I want to tattoo my friends.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get paid for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you want to do it for the love of it.
Right. And
which
because
is one of
people.
Those things you get a lot of. I had somebody in my comments the other day talking about I do it for the love of it. No.
If you did, it would be free.
It'd be free, or you'd be at home painting on canvas, so you don't have to listen to a client tell you what you need to do or what you can and can't do. No, you don't do it for the love of it. There's fake skin. You could do it at home for free, and then you could go and work at Home Depot on the weekends or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't need that's a nonsense answer. You can love what you're doing and understand that you still have to make money.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a lot of them, that's not the case. Well, not a lot. I shouldn't say a lot of them. There are quite a bit though.
So speaking on the things that you've been seeing on the internet, what's going on with this you going after tattoo artists on the internet?
Man, I'm tired of the ego. I'm tired. I seen a video, and I'm not gonna lie to you. The guy even messaged me because he thought I took the video down, but I don't take videos down. But I can't remember his name right now. But he said that he's not going to tattoo you unless it's something that he wants, and I'm okay with that to an extent, right? But then he said, if you bring me an image that your kid drew and then tore it up and we taped it back together and you still wanted that tattooed, then he's like, you're stupid and I'm not fucking doing it. And that's when I was like, done. I'm done, because I don't care who you are. I don't care how many follows you have. I do not care. You're not that special. You're not as special as that parent getting that picture from their kid. You never will be. It's just not possible. And for you to say it's not cool and it's unoriginal is nonsense to me. And it's arrogant is what it is. Nobody gives a shit, right? If you think it's cool or not. That person does. And it's the same thing with every single tattoo. Whether I like the tattoo idea that you have or not is fucking irrelevant, because I'm not living your life and I've not had your experiences. So I don't know what's meaningful to you.
Right.
I said it on a video too. It was like, I personally don't like Pablo Picasso. I think that his art looks like high school kids scribbling on a desk. I don't think it's good. Is that a bad opinion to have? No, because it's my opinion. Art is subjective to each person. And for an artist, a tattoo artist, or any artist, really a tattoo artist, to say that your idea is stupid in itself is stupid. And you're just arrogant. And you think that you should be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, because of this reason or the next. And some people get away with it. Some people, there's no other options for them. They live in a small rural area and there's not many tattoo artists around, or they don't have the money, right? So they have to go to cheaper places, or they have to go to somebody that's going to treat them like shit. And I can't handle it. And then there's a back and forth with another dude that's just the fucking worst, which, by the way, I called him out. I've called him out twice now. The first time, then he commented on a video, and I called him out again on that video. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. No, I sent it to you.
Yeah,
I sent it to you. Okay. And he's still following me. Like, what are you doing? I thought for sure this dude was gonna block me. He was so upset that I was making fun of his hair.
Was he really?
So upset.
And he messaged you about it, or that was the comments?
No, that was in the comments. Yeah,
That's
he was
funny.
so upset. But I knew that going into it, because a man of adult age like us,
Yeah.
if you've spent that much time growing your hair like that, and you make it up in front and center in every single one of your videos, you're proud of it.
Right.
And I'm gonna, oh my, bro. I know that hair is your entire existence.
That's
if
funny.
somebody shaved that hair off of you when you slept, you would probably cry for a month.
That's funny.
So I knew that, and I just poked at it, you know. Is that the right thing to do? Probably not.
But it's funny. It's fun. Sometimes people need their egos popped a little bit.
But that's the problem. It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah.
You're not going to pop their ego. It doesn't. It's just like with him.
You know, wait, hold on. You don't think that conversations like that, where because people are soft, right? We're not used to having people speak to us directly anymore. People beat around the bush, they sugarcoat everything, and they don't have somebody speak direct the way that you do.
Yeah.
You don't think that you speaking directly to them is going to make them think about that shit?
No.
I do.
No. They'll think
They
about
may
it
not
for a
admit
minute.
it, but I guarantee you that night when they went to bed, they were laying there staring at their ceiling, thinking about everything that you fucking said to them.
Could be, but that very next day, they're going to have all their yes men right behind them.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're cool, man.
Yeah.
It's all good. Your hair is beautiful, whatever, bro. Like, you should be in commercials like Troy Polamalu. Yeah. And he's like, who's Troy Polamalu? And, you know, and then you hate him even worse because you don't know who that guy is. Sorry if you don't know who that guy is.
I honestly think that because of my experience with the comment section and being in the comment section, any creator that I know that has a big following, the haters in their comments being nasty to them outshines the positivity 1,000-fold.
Really?
I can have 250 comments in a video and one of them will be negative and it will fucking break me apart.
Yeah.
I will analyze everything that they say, try to find out if there's validity to it, try to dissect my ego to be like, am I really doing this? Is this how I'm being perceived? I guarantee you that if he has any like sense of self-worth that's not like overbearing, he will be breaking that shit down and thinking about it overnight.
It's probably because I don't think of it that way. If you insult me, or if you something like he did there, try to check my ego, which I don't have an ego. So, which I guess in itself is kind of having an ego, isn't it?
No.
That's a paradox.
So, well, I mean, that speaks to ego death.
But if I'm all like, I don't have an ego, that's me having an ego about not having an ego.
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. If you were being boisterous and like that was like a thing that you said all the time, not just in a conversation like we're having right now, I would feel that way. But we are speaking on ego.
Yeah.
And humility goes a long way. And again, we can speak on ego death. That's a whole other conversation, and not really for tattoo conversation. But as I have done my journeys with Aya and all the things that I've done, my ego has dissolved a lot.
What is Aya?
Ayahuasca.
Oh,
the ceremonies that we've been doing.
I should have known that. I just never heard it abbreviated, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't. Anyway, I forgot what.
But a lot of that has changed my perspective and my views on a whole lot of things. Like, I don't want to get into that right now. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, okay.
But so with that guy in that video, you said that there was somebody that he had made a comment about a kid's 5-year-old drawing or whatever, or a kid's drawing.
Yeah, they originated from a different creator, and he's got like, I don't know, 250,000 followers on Instagram, which on Instagram is a lot.
Yeah,
We've
been fighting tooth and nail to build our Instagram.
I can't build Instagram to save my life. I've been at like 9,000 followers for like 2 years.
Wow.
I cannot do it. Let's be honest with ourselves though. That's my fault. I'm not as consistent on it as I am on some of the other platforms. So it is my fault. But I feel like I just kind of give up on it.
You need to pay for Repurpose IO and set it up so that everything that you post to your TikTok goes to your Instagram.
Just instantly?
Instantly.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I rarely post to Instagram. I'll post my stories on Instagram, but like all the videos that are there all get pulled from TikTok.
Okay.
And you can set it to go to your YouTube or your Facebook, wherever you want it to go. Anyways, back on the kid thing. When I was working at level 5, had to have been 15, 20 years ago. It was longer than 15 years ago because the shop turns 15 next month. So it had to have been probably 18 years ago. Some dude came in and like he was wanting me to do a big old tattoo on his forearm, and he had a little, at the time I was like, it was a really shitty tattoo on his wrist. And I was like, so when we do this tattoo, you want me to cover that little shit on your wrist? Like you want me to fix that or whatever? Because I can make that look a whole lot better. And he like, it immediately turned him off to me. And I didn't realize like at the time there was meaning behind it, but he was like, my 5-year-old son drew that and he's dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, I thought that was a scratcher tattoo. Like, I wasn't trying to be insensitive to what's going on with you. We can leave it. We can fix it, whatever. Yeah. But like, at that point, I didn't even know what to say. Like, cause like it wasn't like him trolling me.
Right. He felt
he got upset and like it fucked up my whole chi. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself that day.
Yeah.
But it changed the way that I talked to my clients. After that, I never did that.
Yeah, I don't do it either.
I never was like, that tattoo sucks. I can fix that for you. Like, that was never a thing unless I knew the client really well.
Yeah.
And I knew they didn't like the tattoo and I was working around it. I'd be like, you want me to just touch this up while I'm in here? And then I would do my thing to it. But for the most part, like that whole talking down on a client's tattoos.
Yeah.
And that falls into the other thing too. When people go, what would you charge me for this? My answer is always, do you like the tattoo? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, then what does it matter what I would charge? You're happy with your tattoo.
Yeah.
It's just wild to me.
Yeah, I learned not to do that super early, and I can't even give you like a specific time frame when I learned not to do it, or even like a specific person. I just do. I'm not doing that, you know, because as like I said earlier, you didn't walk that path, and I don't understand what led them to that tattoo. Even if I'm almost positive that tattoo was just done in a garage or something, and it has no sentimental value, like somebody's got some weird tribal that's half in their arm, you know what I mean? Right. Like you don't know if their best friend did it and then immediately got hit by a car. You have no fucking idea. Yeah. So I don't, unless I get in the express written consent from the NFL, you know what I mean? Like I need to know that you hate that tattoo 100%, or I'm not even going to talk about it. Like I'm just going to skim past it, you know? But most of the time, if you've been with around them for any period of time, it'll come up. It'll come up naturally instead of just trying to bring it up. And that's what I mean. Like you can't pretend to know what somebody else's experiences are or what makes them feel special or what makes them, light up inside. What tickles their little brain wrinkles is not the same thing that tickles my brain wrinkles.
Right.
And that same thing goes for all the tattoo artists that think they think they know, or they think they're better than you. I think that's one of those things. They think they're better than the client. The client's paying your fucking bills, dude. You're going to go home tonight to a house and you're probably going to eat something, maybe watch TV. God knows what else you're going to do. And all that comes from the hard work of others.
Right.
Now, granted, you did work. You worked and you earned that money, but that person didn't have to give you their money. They didn't have to pick you. I think just the fact that somebody picked you to do that and put that on them for the rest of their life and worked all that time for all that money to get it, and you're the person they picked, especially nowadays when there's so many tattoo artists.
Right.
They could pick anybody, and they picked you. That, to me, is a compliment. And they don't see that. They're just too good for it. You know what I mean?
Would you ever get to the point, like if you had the client base to only tattoo whatever you wanted to tattoo, would you tell people no?
I think that would really honestly depend. The way that I see it and the way that I do it, like right now at the tattoo shop, I will tattoo anything that comes through that door. That's been my motto for my entire career. And it will. I still do walk-ins. It will continue to be my motto for my entire career. But I have people underneath me right now. I'm booked and I make enough money to pay my bills right now. But there are people in the shop that don't. So will I tell them no? No. But I will try to push them to another artist that needs that money.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if I'm sitting there, I'm all by myself, no, I'm doing that tattoo. I will never reach a point in my career or how good I am to where I'm going to think I am too good to do your tattoo. It's never going to happen because, again, that little tattoo, that nonsense that you didn't like or that design that you thought was stupid could lead to an entire back piece that you're going to get free reign on. You don't know that.
That's how I built all my big clients.
Yeah, I built a lot of my clients like that. Little small stuff, and then they come back and they come back and they come. I'm currently doing a sleeve on somebody, underwater sleeve, this cave diver guy, which, by the way, he's out of his mind. Who does this? Cave diving?
Underwater cave diving?
Oh my, no, dude. He showed me a video the other day, and I'm claustrophobic. I can't do that. No. I can't even sleep with my head under the blankets.
I can't
do
either.
it. Okay? Anyway, no way. But it has started with a little nonsense pocket watch that nobody wants to do. Oh, they've been done 100 times. Everybody's got a pocket watch. So what? So what? What car are you driving right now? How many people got that car, bro?
Right.
What are you talking about? It's a stupid argument.
They don't say that shit about like the new Jordans.
No.
Or the new guitar that they want.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. So they're picking and choosing what's okay to get that somebody else already has. Somehow tattoos are too cool for you to have the same tattoo as somebody else. No, it's not. No, it's not.
They'll go to Home Goods and buy that print that everybody's got hanging up in their living room.
Yeah. It's nonsense. That's the thought process there. For me, you just sit down and just think about it for a second. Like, what are we talking about here? The idea that you shouldn't do Pinterest tattoos or whatever because so many other people have those Pinterest tattoos. So what? That person wants that Pinterest tattoo. If she doesn't care or he doesn't care that 90,000 people have that Pinterest tattoo, then it's none of your fucking business. It's not my business.
But how did that even become a thing? Because
Flash.
Right. That's what I'm getting at though. But like the Huck Spalding flash sheets, Cherry Creek,
William Webb,
like Spiderweb, like all of those guys, like those Aaron Bell, all of those flash sheets that were so big in the 90s and 2000s, even into the 80s, like that was tattoo culture.
Yeah.
And the traditional artists are doing the same thing. It's just flash. It's not like they're drawing new things.
No.
Those traditional roses have been done hundreds of thousands of times.
I don't care if you change the leaf a little bit, bro.
Right.
You're doing
It's
the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. I had that was in another one of the videos that I made, and somebody told me that, what did I say? I said something about why we're in the industry and stuff like that. Oh, the dude said he was in the industry because of the history of it. And I told him it was nonsense, that he wasn't in the industry for it. And he mentioned some people like Tony Ciavaro, Jesse Smith, people like that. And he said he wanted to be like those people. And I was like, those people did the same thing, bro.
Right.
They came up tattooing Cherry Creek. They came up tattooing Flash, dude. And then they would just sprinkle in their stuff for a little while.
Until they built a client base.
Until they got a client base and could do just their style. Jesse Smith does the little googly-eyed things.
Yeah.
Paul Booth does the creepy stuff, you know. Tony Ciavaro is the new school guy.
Right.
You know, and they weren't, I guarantee it, man. Now, come at me any way you want to. These people were in this industry to make money, and they just happened to build that clientele until their name was synonymous with what it was they were doing. And the reason that they got so popular and the reason that they're synonymous for that is because they brought forth something that nobody had seen before.
Right.
Paul Booth was doing stuff in the early 2000s that would make your brain pop,
Right.
you know? And things that people thought were never going to be possible, Paul Booth was doing. And Jesse Smith bringing forth this different style, and he pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until he finally got it to where this is all I do.
Yeah.
And it's not because that's all he wants to do, or that's all because, you know, he'll say, oh, I'm not doing it. It's because he built it that way. That's what he wants, you know? And, but before that, he was doing Cherry Creek Flash, and he was doing it for the money. We're in this ultimately to feed our families. If you don't have a family, you're in it for whatever, cars and whatever else you need money for.
Right.
And the idea that because you think you're artistic or you got into it for the history of it, you're better than anybody else is nonsense, because you didn't. Or you'd be at home painting on canvases. If you were doing it just for the art, you'd be painting on canvases.
Right. And you'd be doing what you want, not what the client wanted.
Exactly.
Like it wouldn't
I don't
be
have to listen to you then.
Right.
And even the people that paint on canvases, if they want to make money painting on canvases, guess who they have to listen to?
customers.
The customer. What the fuck are we talking about? Doesn't matter what job you have. It does not matter what job you have. Eventually, that job becomes sales.
Yeah.
Every time. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Okay, so then where does that stop? Because there's a difference between customer service and sales. I'm not a salesman.
Yeah.
I can be. I've done sales. I've done, I owned a telemarketing room for a while. Like I can sell. I refuse to do it. I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to, because sales is making you believe you need this thing because I believe that you need this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck with that. Like that feels slimy to me.
Yeah.
I call it snake oil salesman, and I view everyone like that.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between providing service and good customer service and then sales. So
Right.
where does that, for you, where does that end? Because you just said that eventually all jobs become sales.
They do. I mean, eventually all of them do. They all do. You have to try to sell yourself or to somebody else. You got to become a salesman if you want that promotion at your job. Where you have to sell it to your boss that you deserve to have it. You are a salesman. Congratulations. You know what I mean? You didn't make direct monetary funds from being that salesman, but if you can't sell yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay right where the fuck you're at. You're going to stay right at the bottom. You're not going to climb that ladder. You have to be able to do it. Nobody wants to hire somebody that's impersonable. Nobody, you know what I mean? You're not going to get crazy high up on the ladder if you smell like cat piss. It's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think that would speak more to the quality of the character of the individual, the way that they conduct themselves. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sales tactic.
I think it is.
Do you?
I do. I think it's a sales tactic. I think everything we do, you're trying to sell something. I'm trying to sell to you that I'm this person. I'm trying to sell to the next person. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? Like each person is trying to sell something, whether it's themselves personally, whether it's a service they have. You know what I mean? If you go out to the bar and you're trying to pick up a chick, you're trying to sell to that woman that you are that person.
Yeah, I guess in that context, I can see that. I think that there's a lot of, but that falls right back into the sales aspect. That's slimy to me.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's the way it is though. You know, that's the way it is. You have to be able to sell yourself. Tattooing, I think is like 30% art, 70% sales. If you can sell yourself that you are that guy, then you're in. You're good.
So do you think that the customer service aspect then falls under the sales department?
Yeah.
See, I would have separated those two.
I think they're the same. I think a good salesman has great customer service, right? A good salesman knows what's best for you, knows how to meet his bottom line, and knows how to make money and make the sell. And he also knows how to get you to come back. Because you need to come back, right? Unless you're doing high volume stuff, I need somebody to come back.
Right.
So you need to know how to sell that person and make them happy with the product that they have so they come back.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't like the term.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't like salesmen.
What do we call it then?
I don't know.
Because I do it.
So like, right. Well, I've seen you interact with people and I've seen people frustrate you. So like, I know the two sides of Jeff in that aspect.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being a salesman and having good customer service or good people skills.
Yeah.
So like when I view a salesman, I think of like a 1980s used car salesman, right? When I think of somebody that has good customer service, that has good front desk capabilities, that knows how to talk to clients and deal with a client, they're coming in already with what they want.
Yeah.
So you're not selling them on anything other than maybe an upsell.
But
that does make sales, but that's normally based off of like, we're trying to give them something more than they're getting.
Right.
But I don't see that as the same 1980s used car salesman.
Well, I still think even if they know what they're getting, even if they know what they want, like you still have to sell it to them, right? I still have to present myself in a specific way to make them comfortable with, giving me that sell. They can go somewhere else. They don't have to sell it to me.
Yeah. I think that most of the time, though, when clients come in the door, once they're in the studio, they're getting tattooed there.
Yeah, for small stuff. And as long as somebody doesn't treat them like absolute shit.
Right. Well, then that comes down to the front desk service, right? And customer
but I think
service.
it's the same. I think it's one and the same. You ever see that guy that, this is an old video, super, super old video. The guy's selling a cleaner. And he's going door to door and he's talking, man, I wish I could remember any of that stuff, man. He was such a good salesman, but also really great with the people. He even like blew up on YouTube and he's even had like a couple places on TV because of this thing. But he was selling some kind of a cleaner and he was like, this will get spots out like Michael Jackson.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The guy that would make jokes the entire time he was selling shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great salesmanship and it's great customer service at the same time.
Somebody in the chat said that a lot of artists now don't just hang out for walk-ins. It's appointment only. I want to touch on the appointment only versus the walk-in thing. If an artist is booked and has to work by appointment only like you are, unless there's a no-call, no-show, it's very hard for you to take a walk-in.
Yeah.
But you've cultivated a client base for yourself that keeps you booked out a few months at a time, weeks at a time, whatever it is, depending on season or not.
Absolutely.
I worked in the industry where the first person that got to the counter was taking that tattoo.
Yeah, me too.
And like, I know now I gotta be honest. A lot of the issues that I have with the industry is the younger generation. And I think it's more of their frailty because they're very frail,
easily hurt, easily upset.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying not to call them little bitches. Frail is the only thing I got. And the little
Frail's
bitches came up. So I stopped.
It's good. It's good.
But those situations where you have 4 or 5 artists that are doing nothing and the other guys in the studio are booked out for weeks or months at a time, those 4 artists that got nothing going on should all be at the front counter just trying to take everything that comes through the door.
Yeah.
The problem is other people that are sheepish won't get up and talk to people and then they don't make any money and then they quit.
Yeah, and good.
Right. Well, and that's how I feel. Dude, the reason that we have the system that we have now is because when Nicole was there, she had made it very clear that there were a lot of very unhappy people because of the way that other artists came up to the front desk. James Armstrong is a buddy of mine that works in Georgia. He worked for us for a little while and he would run from the desk where Javier sits at the very back, which used to be my desk. He would run all the way around the wall sprinting to get to the front desk. Yeah. And if he was tattooing, he would stop tattooing and start engaging over the wall.
Yeah.
And he was making more money than everyone in the shop and people fucking hated him for it.
When I first started tattooing, I worked at a place called Dreamtime Tattoos. This place was terrible. Okay. But I don't care. I sat in a folding chair right in front of the front door. Somebody walked in. I was up out of that seat and in their face before they got all the way through the door. Like facts. Because it's a dog eat dog world. If you didn't do it, you weren't getting it.
Yeah.
Period. And I understood that. And a lot of people don't understand that and they want it handed to them. And the more and more it goes, the more and more they get it. But you are right. The They're very frail, and they get upset really easy. Oh, they're sharking clients or this, that, and the other. Well, get your ass up and do it. If there's a place where there's only appointments only, that's where like the apprenticeship model works the best. People right now are hating on apprenticeships because, oh, it's 2 years, you're not making no money, you got to do all the work for the shop. I'm slave labor, this stuff and that. You know what I mean? Which is not. It's sweat equity, right? You don't go to college for anything or any trade school and not pay money.
Right.
But an apprenticeship, at least the way that I do them and the way that they were done for the majority of time, was you paid for your apprenticeship because I don't want to sweep the floor.
Right.
So you do that. And in exchange, I'll tell you how to do it. That's where this model works. I get up here where I'm only doing walk-ins or only doing appointments, but I need somebody that does walk-ins. So you train that person.
Right.
They do the walk-ins, and then they gradually get better. Then you train another person.
Right.
And then that person that's lowest on the pole does the small walk-ins while everybody else is booked. And nobody sees it like this anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes into the tattoo industry thinks that they should be making $100,000 a year from day one. You're lucky
insane.
to make 30 grand your first year. If you make 30 grand your first year tattooing, then I commend you. You're awesome. The sacred rites, I think most of the apprentices that we've trained, which now I'm at 9 from sacred rites, make their first year somewhere around 35. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Right.
That's great for your first year tattooing.
They would make more if their customer service was better, though.
Yeah, if they would assert themselves, they'd make a lot more.
I made more than that my first year tattooing, and that was in a very different time frame.
I didn't.
That
make
was
it close to that.
when the dollar was valued a whole lot more. You know what I mean? I want to touch on that the apprenticeship thing, because so many people will charge for an apprentice. Like if you want an apprenticeship, it'll be 20 grand.
Yeah.
And the kids will find ways, borrow the money from their parents or whatever, get into the studio, and the shops will fire them through their apprenticeship, and they'll keep that money.
Right.
So I'm the same way that you are with that. I don't believe in charging for apprenticeships. I believe that the sweat equity that goes into that does two things. It makes them work off their time in the studio, so they're not actually paying for it, and it teaches them to respect the shop.
Yeah.
The more that they're taught to look at the floors and look at the walls and look at the desks and make sure the sharps containers are not full, or that the biohazard bins are not overfilling, that repetitious behaviors wax on, wax off, bro.
Yeah.
And as they learn that, it's instilled in them. If they see a mess on the floor, to grab the fucking broom real quick and clean it up.
Yep.
So that clients don't see that
Yeah,
shit.
it's training it. You're just training.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely a Mr. Miyagi thing, a wax on, wax off. It's absolutely what it is. But people, there's a lot of predatory people
Yeah.
that are doing exactly what you said, charging somebody 20 grand and then finding some cockamamie reason to fire them. Oh, you didn't do your job right, you're fired. And then they pocket that 20 grand.
I've seen it happen a lot.
So have I. I've seen it happen quite a few times. I don't want your money. I want your time. I want you to pay attention, and I want you to care.
Right.
That's it. That's all I want, right?
We're also not bringing on apprentices for people that we don't want to work in the studio.
No.
Right. And that's another thing that comes into the apprenticeship aspect. If people are doing your apprenticeship and then sending you out into the wild, and they're not offering you a job afterwards, that time that you're learning to tattoo, you're not going to see everything that you come across.
Right.
Right. And it's the same thing with body piercing. All these little fucking schools that have opened up that teach you the basics and send you out into the world, there are going to be things that you are going to have to troubleshoot in real time. And if you're not doing continued education after that, or you're not working under someone and you don't have somebody to ask, like, hey, what is going on right here? You are fucking screwed.
Oh, yeah, you're done. Yeah, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be like, schools are the same way right now. Tattoo schools are the same way. Do I inherently think tattoo schools are bad? No, I don't. But in their current fashion, their current model is bad.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a 3-4 week course or whatever, and they go 2 times a week, for 7 hours a day or whatever. And then they send them off in the world. The good thing about an apprenticeship is what you said. There you have a built-in job.
Yeah.
When you're done, you have a place to work. And then I'm still there as your mentor. If you have a problem, I'm there.
Right.
You can come and talk to me. But a school, you don't have that. I don't care if they are going to give you lifetime, calls or whatever. Call us. No. bro. You're going to email them, call them 100 times, not going to answer the phone. You're going to email them, and 3 days later, you're going to get an answer to your question. It's not going to work the way that people want it to work.
Right.
And the schools are giving people the idea that once you leave, you'll be able to do it professionally, which, I mean, I guess technically you could do it professionally. Because,
I mean, you find anybody that's looking for an artist bad enough and to hire somebody, then yes.
Yeah. Or you could, get a loan from grandmammy and open your own
shop.
tattoo shop. It's not that hard.
Right.
It's not hard to open a tattoo shop. There's no regulations on it, which is the more and more we get into the schools and regulations of tattoos, the harder and harder it's going to be to have a tattoo shop. They're going to start cracking down on regulations.
Well, we're seeing that already. I'm one of, we've talked about this. I want to own studios all the way up and down the west coast of Florida, but I've also looked because I have friends in other states that want to own a shop, and I have the financial resources to put them in business.
Yeah.
For a percentage. That's the goal, right? Mailbox money. But I've looked into other states, and every state that I've looked at has different requirements for them to have a studio. And Florida is one of the more lenient ones.
Yeah.
Like in order, I might have been Nevada or Tennessee, maybe even Montana. I don't remember. One of the states that I looked at had, two of the states that I looked at had regulations where you had to apprentice under somebody for a minimum of 6 months at a studio before you can even apply for an apprentice license.
Yeah. So that's Missouri is like that. Oklahoma is like that. Wyoming is like that. And then there's one more. It might have been Nevada.
So it was probably Nevada then. But knowing that that's a thing, and then after that, you have to prove that you're an apprentice for a minimum of 2 years, and then you still can't get licensed unless you're working in a shop.
Right.
In Florida, the only requirement is that you work in a studio to get your license.
Yeah.
But they also have it set up in Florida that if you get caught tattooing out of a house now, it's a up to $10,000 fine. They will revoke your license indefinitely.
Yeah.
And you could potentially be charged with a felony.
Sure. So Illinois is pretty close to that. Illinois doesn't license an individual. They only license the studio, right? So
that was us about 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
They just license just the studio. The individuals don't get licensed. And the only requirement to get a license for the studio is an inspection on the property to make sure that you have warm running water and adequate light.
That was us.
Yeah, that's it. So $600 later, you got a tattoo shop. And if you think that's super lenient, Texas doesn't have any of that.
Really?
No, none. The one thing about Illinois that's wild is that there's no parental consent in Illinois. Like there is here, you can sign a consent form, your kid can get tattooed. In Illinois, there isn't. And if you get caught tattooing a minor, not only are you going to jail for it, you get to come out as a registered sex offender because they call it penetration of a minor. Like Illinois is wild when it comes to tattooing minors, but when it comes to tattooing in general, bleh.
Yeah.
This
This can lead into a whole other topic, but so in Florida, it used to be before they started licensing artists, you would have to do a doctor's letter. You would have to pay a doctor to write a letter saying that your tattoo studio is up to standards. And those letters would run you anywhere from $600 to $2,000 a year.
Yeah.
And there were only like 5 doctors in the state of Florida that were doing it. Those guys were fucking banking off of tattoo shops.
I bet.
So that would be it. You would get your letter. You would provide it to the health department. They would come in and make sure that your studio met regulations. The floor was not carpet. You had good lighting, good hot water. That you didn't have pet like fish tanks at artist stations. No animals in the studios, et cetera, et cetera. But it was no artist license. Once the studio was good to go, you could just run.
Yeah.
But body piercers, in order to get licensed through the state, had to do a bloodborne pathogen cross-contamination course, which was kind of a joke.
It still is.
Well, it was way worse before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was way worse before. When the health department themselves were doing it, it was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And now they're outsourcing it to other companies that actually do that. But I wanted to, what were we talking about before I just said that about the courses?
I don't know. I'm stuck on you were talking about animals. My first tattoo shop in Illinois had animals in it.
So on the Illinois thing about the difference in the shops, there's a part of me that doesn't think legally we should have to have any of that shit. There's the other part of me that's worked in the industry so long that I've seen the infections and the horror stories that come out of people tattooing that don't know what they're doing and understand why there is regulation for it, because it could fuck somebody up and potentially kill them. But the freedom lover in me is like, I shouldn't have to ask anybody for shit. I'm a grown up. You know what I mean?
There
Like,
definitely should be regulations for tattoos.
Let me make my stupid decisions. And if I die, I die. You know?
I'm with you on that one. But no, there definitely needs to be some kind of regulations for sure. Like my first tattoo shop in Illinois, they don't care. I had a pond inside it, like a full on pond with a waterfall and 3-foot koi fish in it.
We could do that in the lobby.
It was in the middle of the tattoo shop.
Wow.
Like you could make a wish from the station.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? I had big birds in there. Like used to bring, I had a Harlequin macaw. I used to bring Titan. His name was Titan. I used to bring him with me all the time. I had a post driven into the wall that he could stand on. He could walk along anywhere he wanted to in the shop.
Wild.
And they don't care. They do not care. As long as they get their $600 a year, doesn't matter.
Fucking crazy.
It does not matter. They don't care.
Desk Clan said, coming soon, Sacred Rights of Texas. I really want to invest into other tattoo studios. The problem with all of that is you have to have the right staff in order to make it work. And even though you can build a nice shop for under $70,000, if you don't have the right person to run the studio, you will lose $70,000 in that first year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it will not turn a profit, and you'll end up closing your doors. The amount of people that have written into the podcast that are tattoo artists that are telling me that they're not making $1,000 a week as a tattoo artist, I'm like, blows my fucking mind,
crazy.
dude. You're either really shitty, like as an artist, your customer service really sucks, or you don't understand social media.
Yeah. Somebody said that they needed to be an industry, or every industry needs a community for teamwork and problem solving. We have that.
Yeah.
But again, they're all better than you, pretentious people. Like every time I see anybody talking about it, or anybody that's from it or in part of it, just thinks they're better than you. I'm part of this thing. I'm better than you.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, no, you're not better than me because you're part of some nonsense group you made.
You paid a fee.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, it's like somebody that has a check mark that they paid $10 for. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You're not cooler than me because you gave Instagram $10 a month. Like, if anything, I'm cooler than you because I didn't. You know, I'm not paying them or whatever, you know. Twitter's that way.
I pay for my blue check mark on Facebook.
Shame on you.
It's $120 a month.
I don't figure, why would you have to pay for that?
Because if I don't pay for that, there was over 100 fake To Be Better accounts.
Oh.
And
but they wouldn't verify you?
They would not.
How?
I had to, so they wouldn't verify me. I had to pay the fee and then submit articles of incorporation, fictitious names, and a whole bunch of other shit. It took me like 7 months to get that blue check mark.
Wow.
But now To Be Better is so protected on Facebook that every time a fake account pops up, I send one email and that bitch is removed.
Well, I guess
they do not fucking play around with that. So for me, that $1,200 a year is worth every penny because we have 816,000 followers on Facebook.
There's like 9 fake accounts of mine right now running around messaging people.
On Facebook or on TikTok?
TikTok.
Yeah, we've got thousands on TikTok. We can get them removed, but it's a whole lot harder than Facebook.
Really? Yeah, they always tell me no, they haven't violated the community guidelines. I'm like, scamming people isn't violating the community guidelines, but
So
I can't talk about feet.
I can show you how to remove those. There's a link that I can send you. So the way that it works is they have to steal your content.
Yeah.
So if they make a fake profile and post your videos,
Yeah.
you can get their entire account deleted. If there's 3 videos on it, they'll just delete the account.
Oh.
So, and if they're using like your logo, like I would, get your Jeff Graham logo copywritten and or trademark, apply for the trademark, and then they're also in trademark violation. So on TikTok, when I flag an account, I flag the main account, and then I upload my articles or my trademark agreements because I have 3 different trademark agreements, and then I also send them a picture of our main account. And like, dude, I get an email at least 2 or 3 times a day saying that this account's been removed, this account's been removed, because the people on our Discord will post a link to those accounts and I'll just go and remove them. And those accounts, when they create the accounts, will block us after they've cloned our account. So I can't even see them when I search for them.
Right.
But they can.
Wow.
So.
Well, that's cool. You got the Discord coming and saving the day. I got a lot of people that do it for me too on TikTok. I don't have a Discord, but I have a lot of people that report them and comment, send me the pictures of them. Hey, we need money from you or whatever. I think the ego is where we were going with that.
I was just going to bring it back to that too.
Yeah, I think that ego is what's destroying the industry. I think that people that think they're too good to treat somebody else like a respectable human should treat somebody is destroying the industry. And I don't mean on the ground level, individually, each individual shop. I don't think that's what's destroying the industry. I think it's the people that have a large following that are doing it, right? So like the people I'm arguing with right now on TikTok, both of them have a large following and both of them spew this nonsense rhetoric. Is that the right word?
Etiquette?
No.
Rhetoric.
Spew that rhetoric out, and then they just get this weird little... it makes other people think it's okay to act like that.
Yeah, right. That's exactly it.
And then it gets more and more and more. And that's why they call you an influencer, because you're influencing others to do things, to buy something, to, go to this place, whatever it is, eat this food. You're influencing that person, right? And when the people that have large followings get on the internet and publicly shit on their clients, then the young people in the industry think that it's okay to do that because that guy that's got all this status is publicly shitting on his clients. I think that's what's ruining it, because it trickles down, and now all those newer tattoo artists that want to be like that tattoo artist are treating their clients like shit because they think it's okay. It was just like the Fox thing, Tattoo Gate. You didn't get any of that Tattoo Gate stuff? Russ Abbott. Do you know who Russ Abbott is?
Of course I do.
Okay. So Russ Abbott had this course about this is how you make money as a tattoo artist. And it was convoluted. Like, I'm telling you, it was the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. $1,000 deposit to draw it, $400 or $500 to redo the design once. It was crazy. It was crazy. And so some lady up in Canada or somewhere got a tattoo of a fox and spent an ass ton of money on it. Didn't get the tattoo, or did? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. And when she came in to see her design, it was just this horribly put together, like sloppy sketch that you couldn't even hardly tell the thing was a fox. And this girl's already like $2,000 deep into this fucking thing. And she's like, this is what I was told to do, right? And this woman lost her tattoo shop. Her name is destroyed. She can't go on the internet anymore. And so she's lost her career, lost her tattoo shop, lost being able to go outside because of the internet, just destroyed her. And the whole time, this was something Russ Abbott told her to do. And Russ Abbott is a staple name in the tattoo industry, right? So if somebody that's that big in the tattoo industry tells you to do something and you're new in the industry, if you're smart, your ass is going to do it. I would have done it if I wouldn't have been already in the industry. If it had been me and I'd been in the same shoes, I'd have followed Russ Abbott's advice and done what he said, right? But instead, she's the one that loses her career while Russ Abbott still gets to collect money from this stupid fucking school that he's doing about how to...
Doesn't he own Procreate also?
No.
Or not Procreate. The tattoos now, the stamp one, the tattoo website. That's Russ Abbott's. He owns
the tattoo site. There's a tattoo site. I don't remember what it is though.
But they make the stamps for Procreate.
Yes.
Yes, he owns that. Was it Tattoo Now? No, that's not right. Anyways.
I don't know. Him and Pony Larson are in on it.
Okay.
So, but anyway, that should be Russ Abbott's fucking problem now, right? But he gets on the internet after it all comes out that she's using his system to scam people out of money, and is going to make himself look better by giving the girl her tattoo for free. Congratulations, bro. You need to give her that tattoo for free and give her money back. And then you need to properly train the poor girl that you destroyed her career. And it's okay because it's Russ Abbott and he's got a huge following and this, that, and the other. When Tattoo Gate was going on, I felt like I was the only person calling out Russ Abbott. This is his fault.
When did this happen?
I don't know. A year and a half ago.
Okay, that explains why I wasn't in it that.
It might have been 2 years ago. I was still pretty new in TikTok. I had 10,000 followers. I hadn't been doing it all that long.
I don't. So real quick, I agree with a lot of the things that you're saying with the ego thing. So what do you think the answer to that? Like, how do we change that? And I believe, because I've been thinking about this all day because I knew we were going to have this conversation tonight. I think the only way that the industry changes is with the client base, right? If we were to continue, if we do this podcast every other week and we do this for 2 years and we hit 500,000 people a year, right? And that 500,000 people listen to what we say and realize that they have the power when it comes to getting tattooed. It changes the way that the artist is able to treat the client.
Yeah.
If the client realizes that customer service matters, they realize that the ego from the artist is not something they have to tolerate, that somebody out there would be glad to do that feather turning into birds.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they have the power to leave the studio. The more that they take that power and they implement it into their lives, the less these arrogant artists that follow the bullshit influencers will be able to do the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the ego in the art, the industry itself has to change. I think it starts with the clients.
I agree. I think that if the client just stands up for themselves and says, go fuck yourself, I'll go get it somewhere else, then it will be felt in the artist's pocket.
And bad reviews.
Oh yeah, sure. Bad reviews. Leave bad reviews. Yeah. If you're not comfortable, I'm about it, bro. Like, if you're not comfortable with me, I welcome you to leave a bad review. Please do.
Right. Well, that's how we improve.
Yeah.
So on the review thing, guys, the Google review system, Yelp is a scam. Did you know that?
No.
Like, because Yelp, they reach out to us every year and try to get us to pay for their professional services and shit. Like, it's a hustle.
Okay.
And like, if you're not part of that thing and people leave you reviews, they stick it in the other reviews thing, unless they're bad.
Yeah.
And then they put the bad reviews up to get you to spend the money. It's a whole ass thing.
Yeah.
At least from my experience with them, that's the way it's been. I can't say that it's like that all the time, but that's been my experience. So I'm not speaking hyperbole. This is my experience.
Yeah.
Google reviews, on the other hand, are very forthcoming because your clients can leave them. Unhappy clients can leave them. Like,
yep.
And if you guys think that Google reviews don't matter, when you go on vacation, what's the first thing that you do?
Yeah, you Google it.
Food near me. Oh, this has got 5 stars. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
The Google reviews fucking matter. And if you live in a military town, a college town, or a tourist town, your Google reviews have to be on point, because if they're not, the studio in the town that is good, that's where everybody goes.
People are going to look for the amount of reviews and then how many stars you have.
Yep.
So the more reviews you can get, the better off you're going to be. But it definitely needs to start there. But that's, I mean, even if tomorrow every single person decided they weren't going to listen to the nonsense anymore and would just tell that artist to eat shit, it would still take years to fix it. I think I wholeheartedly believe that it would take years for it to equal itself back out.
Probably. I mean, it took us years to get to where we are now.
Yeah.
And again, I do believe it started with Ink Master.
Yeah.
Those TV shows gave the people the idea that they could get a back piece in a day.
Well, true.
Right? Like, there was a whole lot of things that went into that. And there was a lot of ego in that show. And
Yeah.
it showed the younger up and coming artists that that's the way they can act.
Yeah, that's true. That the artist is all bitching about it. Oh, this person thinks they can have this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. Which is, they obviously they're going to do that. They're not selling who's the best tattoo artist. Otherwise Clean Rock wouldn't have won, right? Because that dude is middle of the road at best, like legitimately, and he won it 3 times. So they're selling you a popularity contest and drama, right? So they got to create that drama. So not every single client that walks in the tattoo shop is all like, I need a unicorn inside of a crystal ball riding a seal. Like, no, not every client does that. As a matter of fact, it's very, very rare that you get somebody that comes into a tattoo shop with some wild idea that isn't going to work. And even if they do, if you can't figure out a way to make their wild idea work, you should still be able to express to them in a manner that doesn't belittle them into feeling like an idiot because they asked you. You know what I mean? You should be able to at least do that.
Right.
And a lot of them can't. And I think that's one of my, why I'm in so hard right now on all the arrogant people on TikTok, is because the client doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. I just don't think they do.
Someone in the chat said the fact that people can delete the negative one angers me. You actually can't delete your negative reviews.
Yeah, not on Google.
Nope. You can report them. Like, we got a review one time that said they have pictures of their ugly kids hanging in the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
I was able to get that taken down because that has nothing to do with our business. That's you just being an aggressive fuck.
Yeah.
But the ones that are on there where people are like, they were rude, this and that. Like those reviews don't come down; they stay up. And we don't even try to report those. We try to report the bullshit reviews just because there are people that will get on there and leave negative reviews just
for no
to
reason.
do it. But
like, or leave negative reviews about a person that hasn't been there in 6 years.
right, or has never worked there at all.
Yeah.
We get that all the time too. People think that we're a different shop than we actually are.
Think you're Sacred Arts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
People can pay for the good reviews to pad the actual bad reviews. Yeah.
They Google's gotten pretty good about that too. The bot review thing the bot thing in general is a problem across all platforms. I read something the other day that said that people believe that the internet is at least 45 to 50% bots at this point, that more people are disconnecting and spending less time online. So bots are taking over to make it look like
they're still running through websites and stuff like that, so people can still get their advertising dollars.
Yep.
How is a shop able to grow without negative reviews? I mean, do you do the best that you can to keep that person or that client happy? Like you're going to make sacrifices that you don't want to make in the first couple of years of owning a tattoo shop. You're going to, I don't know, bend over backwards and stuff like that if you want it to succeed. If you don't care and you know, it makes it or it don't make it type shit, then do whatever the fuck you want. But that first year is the most important year that you're going to have. And the better you do that first year, the better off you're going to be. So could you get through opening a brand new shop and not getting any negative reviews? Yeah, probably. It would probably be hard. But
we actually didn't get any negative reviews our first year or two in business.
No?
We hired somebody that was a bad hire. And that was when we first got our first negative review.
Yeah.
We got a couple of them where the shop that we worked at previously had tried to give us a bad review. Like the owner of the previous studio that we were at tried to review us. Like I don't count that because that was vendetta shit.
Yeah, right.
But I also did a lot of shit the first year that we were open. We had enough artists in the studio that I pierced full time, and I only tattooed it when I want to.
Yeah.
But I would post up shit for free, and I would tattoo for free, like consistently, because it was my shop.
Yeah.
I was making percentages, making the money from body piercing, and I was building a community. And the bigger your community, the more people that are advertising and pushing your business and your brand,
the better you're going to do.
The better you're going to do.
Yeah.
We came out of the gate swinging. I did everything right with Sacred.
I definitely got a bad review. My only bad review the first year was from a racist, and I refused to tattoo a racist symbol on him, and he was so mad. And he was like, "It's not a racist symbol." And to be fair, it wasn't until you put it next to the racist symbol he already had, right? So when he came and made the appointment, he wanted the Iron Cross. The Iron Cross in itself, not a racist symbol.
Right. Could be a firefighter thing. Could be a whole lot of things.
Whole lot of stuff, right? Not a big deal. But the second you stick it next to a swastika, you're a racist.
Right.
Right? And I'm not tattooing you. Get out of my tattoo shop. And I didn't know this when I made the appointment. He just wanted the Iron Cross. And I was like, sure. And he came in that day and he wants it on his chest and he takes his shirt off and he's got a swastika and he's like, I want it right there. And I was like, I want you out the fuck there. Like, I'm not tattooing you, bro. He called the Better Business Bureau on me and the Chamber of Commerce and everything else and said that I refused to do service with him because he was quote unquote a racist. And I was like, you are a racist and you don't belong in here. Get out.
Right.
You know?
To refuse service.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy, man. That was the only bad review I got my first year open either. But I bent over backwards for people. You know, I gave people discounts and I gave them gift cards and I gave them free lunch because they sat with me for a couple of hours and T-shirts and, you know, stuff like that. And I lost money. My first year. And that's okay. You know, but because I built a good sturdy base there. Now, it didn't go back to Illinois for like 4 years to tattoo, right? And then, what was it, last year? I went back and tattooed. I opened my books to tattoo, and 35 minutes later, I was booked solid for a week and a half. 35 minutes. And I hadn't been there in 4 or 5 years.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? But I built that community there, and I worked my ass off to make sure that everybody was happy and to make sure that I did good work and I, you know, good customer service. And I'm also good at sales. There's a reason I'm constantly doing big tattoos, and it's not because I'm just some awesome tattoo artist, and it's not because I refuse to do anything that's small. It's because I'm good at selling people and I'm good at getting them to get a bigger tattoo. I'm good at convincing them that it's okay to get the thing that they want.
Right. See, that is a sale that I can agree with, because I don't see that as a slimy thing. I have never in my life, honestly, never in my life had a client come in and say, I wish this tattoo was smaller.
Yeah.
Never.
No.
It's always, I should have done it bigger. I don't know what to do this weird gap now. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I always push the bigger tattoos.
Yeah.
But I also explain to somebody, you don't hang an 8x10 photo in the center of your living room wall and call it a day.
Yeah. I do that too.
You know,
do that too. Or you're not going to put a square picture in a round frame, are you? You know,
Right.
things like that. My favorite one is they'll be, fighting with themselves on whether they think they should spend a certain amount of money. Like I know that they want to. They want that cool one. And I just put it in like this perspective. I always say, you ever bought a car before? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, did you go to the car dealership and ask them for the car that has no air conditioning or, power windows? You get the old crank windows out, did you? And they're always like, no. And I'm like, then why would you do this any different?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're not, why would we do this any different? Just spend the money. It's okay. And a lot of times if you can learn to talk to people, I think a lot of what's wrong with the industry is that people don't know how to talk to other people. They can't do it. And if you can't talk to people without, getting upset at something they said, somebody could come right in here, come in the tattoo shop tomorrow and call me a piece of shit. And I'll be like, well, it is what it is. I'm not going to get angry about it. Too many people think emotionally instead of thinking rationally.
Right.
And rationally, if somebody comes in tomorrow and tells me that I'm a piece of shit, I want to know why. What did I do? Right. And can I fix it?
Right.
But maybe that's the way I was wired. Maybe it's the way I was raised.
I think that's why we get along so well.
I don't know what it is, but I think that I want to know what I did wrong. And a lot of people don't care what they did wrong. They just, I'm the piece of shit. Fuck you, buddy.
Right.
And, they become real super defensive and they've got to push the blame somewhere else. I am the last. I do not push the blame anywhere, nowhere else. If the shop has a bad day, it's my fault, period. There is no, well, they weren't doing this or they weren't doing that. I'm not playing that shit.
Right.
It's my responsibility. So if the shop does bad, it's my fault. If I do bad at something, it's my fault. I'm not blaming the client because they wanted a weird tattoo design. I'm not blaming the client because they couldn't sit good, needed to take 15 breaks or whatever. And while we're on that subject, why the fuck do you care if they take 15 breaks? I've seen this on TikTok so many times, is that, the clients, they got to get up, move, and I'm just trying to do. You get paid by the hour, my guy. Why the fuck do you care? That doesn't matter. If he gets up and he wants to take a 2-hour lunch break, I'm going to let him take a 2-hour lunch break. It's not my problem. He's paying by the hour. Like, so why are you like this? I don't get it. And a lot of times I won't even charge them for all of that time that they take. I'll take money off.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. So what do you say about the clients who are like, you didn't tattoo during that time?
Yeah, a lot of times I'll take money off. But that's just me being me. And I don't have clients that do that. I have never had a client do that. Not one time. Because again, I can communicate. I tell them the things that are absolutely true. I'm $150 an hour. All right. With that $150 an hour, I've baked in the time it takes me to make your stencil, place the stencil, set my station up, a 5-minute break every hour and a half or something like that, and a lunch break. I bake that into my hourly rate. If you want my undivided 110% attention the entire time, you want me to piss in this chair because I have to go to the bathroom, I'll do that, but you're going to pay me more hourly.
Right.
Period. Right? And they know that. I'm upfront. I'm honest. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm not sugarcoating things. I'm not trying to hide something behind some bullshit wall. I tell them from the beginning, this is how it is. And as long as you do that in an assertive but kind way, people are insanely receptive to it. They understand, right? And also that comes into the customer service aspect, or being able to talk to people. If you can make that person feel like they're your friend or feel like you want them there, then they're going to be way more receptive to your ideas. They're going to be way more receptive to you needing to take a break or you being hungry or whatever it may be. They're going to be like, oh no, it's cool, bro. It's okay. because they feel like they're part of something.
Dude, I've been preaching that for so long.
It's
an experience.
If you want to do only the stuff that you want to do, the first thing you got to do is learn how to make somebody like you. And you got to do it fast. Science says it takes 1/32nd of a second to find somebody attractive or not. How nutty is that? A 32nd of a second, you can't blink that fast.
Right.
That's how fast it takes. And we can prove it to you. Have you ever been scrolling? Maybe not you, not recently at least, but in the past probably. You ever been scrolling through something and you're just fast, just doom scrolling, right? And then you stop and come back and there's a hot chick there? Huh?
Yeah,
Anybody
that's your
ever
brain.
done that?
That's
That's how fast it is.
right. So you know that works more than just with attractiveness. We read that fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like our brain, we actually only take in like a third or 30%. It was less than that of like what comes in data wise.
Yeah.
But subconsciously we pick up all of it. That's why subliminal messages in TV shows work.
Right. And your brain just filters out what's important and what's not important. But it's that fast. Boom. Just like that. In under 60 seconds, somebody can decide whether or not they would want to spend an extended period of time with you. It's very fast. 80% of what we say is nonverbal.
Yep. Sounds like you've been listening to our podcast. I've been preaching this shit for 3 years. Everything that you've said over the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Even the accountability thing is all shit that I've been preaching on the podcast since we started.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I don't really watch it that
I know.
often.
That's okay though.
I don't get time. If it's not, I'm drawing or I'm doing something, I don't have time for it. I got 6 kids. But the human mind is so fast and it picks up on everything. You have to believe that you want that person there. And if you don't believe that you want that person there, you cannot fake that emotion.
Right.
The other person is going to pick up on it. They're going to understand that something's wrong. And then you've lost it. Then you don't get to do that fun tattoo you wanted, or you're not going to upsell that tattoo, which is, I'm good at upselling tattoos. You come in, you want something small. I'm good at getting you to get the bigger thing, right? And I'm good at that because I understand how to make that person feel comfortable. And it's not that damn hard.
Right.
Be grateful that they're there.
Well, this also speaks to your counter help, right? Like the person that greets somebody in the moment the door opens, like if somebody comes in and nobody talks to them for the first 5 seconds during the studio, even if it's I'll be with you in a second, that little 5, 10, 15 seconds is enough for people to be like, I'm not welcome here.
Right.
That feeling of I'm not wanted is immediate.
It's immediate.
And then you factor in like having a counter help from a shop owner side, you have your counter help and then you have the artist. If the person that's working the front counter is in a great, positive, uplifting mood, and then they go get the artist and the artist is the exact opposite, that polarity is now way worse.
Yeah, it's way worse.
Because you have somebody that's very uplifting and positive, and what was a meh person now looks like a negative fuck face.
Yep.
And it's bad.
It's bad because the contrast is so harsh.
Right.
And it's vice versa too. So if somebody greets somebody and then I have to go out there and clean that mess, it's so much harder for me to get that person back on my side. So hard. So the first 5 seconds that they're in that building they're so important. Companies everywhere know this.
Yep.
You know, they all know that they're trying to get an impression onto you right now. This is why companies, Disney does this. They do everything they can to make sure that when you walk in,
You feel welcome.
you feel welcome.
So does Buc-ee's,
They all
the gas
do it.
station.
Yeah.
So does Moe's, the fucking welcome to Moe's.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of that shit.
They all do it.
Dude, they've spent
Some of them
so much
pump
money
in-
on that.
Some of them like Disney pumps in smells. Subway pumps in smells.
Do they really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
Walmart
Subways did.
pumps in smells and colors. The colors of these places are designed to mess with your psyche. Walmart is what color?
Blue.
It's blue. Blue is a very inviting color. It invites you to stay a long time. It's calming. McDonald's is what color?
Red. Same with Target.
Red and yellow. They want you in. They want you out.
Then why did Target pick red?
I don't know.
you know that Target's actually, when Target first opened and it became a big chain and like it was at the height of its career, everything in there was bright colored.
Yeah.
It was very in your face, bold advertising. And over the last like 5 years, they've removed a lot of the color. Target's become very bland.
Yeah.
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 But these companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars on research to figure this shit out.
To figure out what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I did. So when I owned a telemarketing room for a while when I was younger, and before I owned that room, I worked at another telemarketing company that was owned by a Scientologist based thing. And in order to get into management, you had to take a class in Dianetics. It was a mandatory management class through Scientology for this business. And even though it was not true Scientology, it was very Scientology leaden, like heavy.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of the study of the brain shit. And that was one of the best courses that I'd ever taken on management in my life.
Could you imagine trying to sell somebody on Scientology?
Right.
They got to be good at that.
Right. Well, the amount of money that they've spent on it, like they own almost all of downtown Clearwater. So when you go out to like if you take Gulf to Bay or 60 out to Clearwater Beach and you look past the main highway there, all of those big skyscrapers that are on Clearwater near the beach is all Scientology.
Yeah,
they own
their
all of
headquarters is there too, isn't it, Clearwater?
They own apartment complexes out there. Like they own the entire complex
for the missions, right?
For people who want to go and live and like give their money to the church and stay in those apartments. Yeah, it's a whole ass thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You imagine trying to sell that?
No, I couldn't.
That's
but there was a
incredible.
really good management course.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an incredible sell right there. I don't think I'd be able to sell that one. People used to tell me all the time that I could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
People used to tell me that all the time.
That's funny.
I don't know. And I have bad days. Everybody's going to have bad days. Everybody's going to have a bad day. There's going to be days where I cannot, for the life of me, figure somebody out. Or I cannot figure out what I'm supposed to be saying. And the more I get into my head about it, the worse it gets. So the way that I find to get around that is to just not think about it. I have to tell myself that you want them here. You need them here. They are the most important thing. And I tell myself that every day. Like, there's a thing about if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Bullshit. You are going to work. I don't care how much you fucking love it. That is work, right? But you can learn to love that work. And that's just, you can't get yourself into this like weird hole where you hate it. You know what I mean? And if you do, you need to fake it until you make it. That legitimately works.
No, you're manifesting at that point. You can even say that this comes into Hermetic principles and the whole as within, as so within, as without, or as within, so without. But that's one of those things of manifesting, mentalism. There's a whole lot that goes into all of that. And I agree with all of that. But on the thing with people not working a day in their life, there's a difference between selling your soul for a job and doing something that you love and getting paid for it. And in the tattoo industry over the years, what I've seen is I've seen people that come in as an apprentice that think that this is going to be the most amazing thing that they've ever get to do. And that first year, they're so fucking pumped and excited. And then that year one ego hits, the Dunning-Kruger effect hits. They think that they're hot shit.
Yeah.
And then they start to fucking resent the job.
Yeah.
And like we've had to remind people all the time, remember at one point, this was your dream.
Yep.
Like you were currently living in that space that you had dreamt about. Yeah. And now you're bitter about it. Why is that?
Every single, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you were praying that the next infinity symbol came in, that you got the tattoo. Like legitimately, where'd that go? How did we forget that fast? I have no idea. I'm not a fan of the tattoo industry. Like I love the industry, but I'm not a fan of it. Does that make sense? I love what it was, and I still love the fact that I can do this. But I don't love the industry. I think the industry is just full of arrogant pricks and a bunch of people that, I don't know, are scared to death that their job's going to get taken by the next apprentice,
up-and-coming apprentice,
or something like that. Like, if you're good enough, you're not going to lose money. If you're good enough, I'm not losing money. I'm still tattooing. I've slowed down a little bit. We're in the middle of slow season. We've slowed down, but I'm still consistently booked.
Yeah, September and October is the worst of it.
So I'm not losing anything. And I brought in, like I said, again, you realize that 9 of the people that have worked for Sacred, I trained.
Yeah.
There's only, right now, 3 people at Sacred that I did not train.
Yeah.
And that's Peter,
Raph,
and Javier.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know. I fuck with the apprentice thing. Like I believe that the apprentices coming in are the next generation of tattoo artists. I believe that they are going to be the ones that continue this craft. What I don't fuck with is the ego and the attitude that comes along with it. Like I just don't get it. And you know, there's also a whole lot of like people, you guys don't see this shit. So the client should never see this. But there's a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of vindictive behavior. There's a lot of ugly on the backside of the tattoo industry, whether it's from other shop owners to artists or other artists to artists. There's a lot of scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes down to their ego. It comes down to their inability to be good with a client. I've said it over and over again. You can be a mediocre tattoo artist and make a lot of money if you have a good personality.
Sure.
That's sales, if you want to call it that, customer
That's
service
sales.
of that, whatever. But I believe that the better you are with your customer, it doesn't matter how good your tattoos are.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. You could be bottom of the barrel in your town, but if you have a good personality and people want to be around you, they will sell it for you. And then
Yeah.
you don't have to do it anymore. You just have to be excited that somebody's there for you.
That's all you gotta do.
And I also think that people who are like that, who do get excited because they get to tattoo every day, knowing that they're not very good, they don't get to the ego as fast.
No,
So
no, they don't. But you can't. There's something, I don't know, there's a disconnect somewhere where people lose it. And I don't know what point it is that they lose that excitement that somebody picked them.
it's within the first year or two of them tattooing
It always is. But why? What is it?
because somebody hasn't kicked them off their pedestal yet.
Yeah. Somebody has to do it, I guess.
They do. And I would do that all the time with people. The moment people would start catching I'm too good for this, I would rip their tattoos apart.
Yeah, they start thinking they know more than they actually do. It's,
Right.
it's legit like a 16-year-old boy or 14-year-old boy think they know everything.
Yeah, it's a
Or
Dunning-Kruger effect.
The Dunning-Kruger effect. I used the Dunning-Kruger effect the other day. Again, we're going right back to TikTok. You guys, I live my life on TikTok, okay? Don't judge me, all right?
That's all you got time for. You got 6 kids.
All my experiences come from TikTok. And plus, I've been trying to be more on TikTok, but like post more and stuff. But to do that, I've had to like force my TikTok to show me a bunch of tattoo stuff. And it takes it out of me because there's so much of it. And I got into the big argument the other day about whether or not you should put
Ashes
in your tattoos and stuff, you know? And this guy made a video after I said you shouldn't do it, and this is why, right? And I gave the scientific reason why, because none of it stays in your body, okay? So what are you doing? The majority of it goes in the trash. What are you doing, right? And then they don't clean the crematorium, okay? It doesn't always get cleaned, so you're going to get some of your great aunt and some of somebody else's mammy. That's the facts, okay? So I did all that, laid it all out, and this guy got on TikTok and made a video, stitching my video, and said that I was a terrible tattoo artist and I was stupid and ignorant and didn't know what I was talking about because ashes are made of carbon. And then I had to get on TikTok after I was ratioed and explain to these idiots that no, ashes are calcium phosphate, not carbon. Carbon's made a completely different way. Also, after the cremation process, there's not really ashes. There's some, but not a lot. It's all taken to a grinder and then grind into a finer sand-like particle. There is no ashes. It's all bone. It's all calcium phosphate. It's not carbon. They all think somehow it's carbon. And no, that's not how it's made. That's not how any ink is made. Ink is made by taking all the air out of a drum and then getting that drum crazy, crazy hot and then collecting the soot that comes out. And that soot is what we make black ink out of. And most pigments aren't even made that way anymore. Matter of fact, in case you guys were wondering, if a company is saying that their pigments are vegan friendly, they're using plastic polymers to make their pigments.
I think almost all companies are doing that now.
Almost all of them are doing that. They're not using carbon anymore. We don't use iron oxides in the red pigments anymore. That's another one. I guess we could probably do that a different day. But these are things that people should be educated on that they're not educated on. But people get a little bit of an education about something and then they think they know everything about that subject. And do I know everything about Cremation, no. But I know enough to know that it isn't carbon because your bones are calcium, right? The human body has like 18% carbon or something like that. And then after cremation, about 1% carbon is left.
I didn't know that.
So no, you're not using carbon from cremation. So, anyway, I had a full-on argument with like 10 people about it being carbon, and they just won't come off of it. And even after I'm like, no, you guys, here's the proof that it's not, they still 10 toes deep, bro. It's carbon.
These people don't want to backtrack themselves.
Yeah.
The internet has this weird thing about never changing who you are or changing your opinion. And I think that's why our podcast does so well, because there's shit that comes up that came up in year 1 that has come up in year 3 that is very different for us. The more information, the more data that I have, the more likely I am to go, I was wrong.
Oh, I would love it.
I have no problem being like, hey, I was wrong.
Yeah.
It was me, right? Because I have new data now. I have new understanding, new information. The more information I get, the more proficient I'm going to be at everything that I do.
Yeah.
But if I'm stuck on that one thing that I knew 10 years ago and you can't change my mind, I'm still stuck 10 years ago. I'm stagnant.
I want to be wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
And I'll tell you why.
I want to know why, obviously, or at least that I'm wrong. Prove it, right? You just going, is not proof that I'm wrong, right? Prove to me that I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I want to know, because that's going to make me grow. Right. I think for me, like what pushes me to continue to get better at tattooing isn't that I love tattooing so much, I just got to be good at it. It's because I want to know. I want to be better, right? I want to be better at this. I don't know why, but I do. And every time somebody tells me I'm wrong about something in tattooing and they're right, I learn something and I get better. So tell me I'm wrong, but people cannot take that. They cannot be told that they're wrong and not just have an all-out hissy fit about it.
All right, I want to go back to one thing, and then I want to wrap up because we've been on for over an hour and a half.
Oh my!
You said you cultivated your TikTok to show you tattoo stuff that you were clearly disappointed in what you were seeing. I have not interested every tattoo thing that comes up, and every time I hop into one of your lives or I interact with you, it starts showing up on my feed again. The tattoo industry on TikTok is fucking disgusting to me.
Yeah, and
I mean that with the like true venom in my speech when I say disgusting. The amount of like, you need to tip me, or like the way that people treat the client when the client comes in trying to be funny, even though they're just straight faced and stoic or rude, or like, dude, it bothers the fuck out of me. And like, at one point I was like, you guys are setting a really bad example. And like, when I was a small creator, I would always respond to those people and I would get in their comment sections and I would do that because I was also still in the tattoo industry.
Sure.
And the moment that I was no longer at the shop and I didn't have to deal with that shit anymore, I stopped all of the tattoo talk. I don't talk to artists anymore. I don't, unless I can vibe with the artists themselves, because I don't want to talk about their art.
Yeah.
And like, I have a hard time seeing up and coming artists and trying to give them criticism or trying to help them with their career, because I've done it already. Like my shop is super successful. It was super successful before I walked away from it.
Right.
And I know the industry and I know art enough that I can tattooing technically, I know better than art, right? Like if we were having a conversation of art, you shit all over that. I get it. Like you're a much better physical artist than I am, but I still understand things a lot more than most people get in their apprenticeship. So when I see up and coming artists, or I see people on Facebook or Instagram and they're being humble and they're being cool, I'll jump in their comment section and try to help them out and give them pointers and shit. We have quite a few tattoo artists in our Discord.
Oh, bro, if I call somebody out or if I do something like that, and like today was a great example. Somebody messaged me and told me to quit hating. What they said was, quit hating, unk. And I was like, man, I've made it to the unk. I'm old, right?
I don't think that's what that was. But
that's what it is. That's what it is.
I don't think that's what that was.
Yeah, because he said it was got it from his uncle. His old uncle says the same thing or whatever. It doesn't matter.
There are phrases that I don't tolerate.
Okay. Either way, he told me that I was a hater, and then I explained to him how I wasn't being a hater.
Yeah.
And that he just misread it or he understood it wrong. And he came back with, okay, I understand now. My bad. I followed him back, right? I gave him the follow. Small creator trying to build a name for. I gave him the follow and was like, cool. You know, if you can't have an honest conversation or a civil conversation with me without getting butt hurt, then I don't want to have that conversation with you.
I agree.
I just don't. There's no reason to get in your feelings about anything. If I tell you that you're doing something wrong, I'm not directly attacking your livelihood. You know what I mean? If I tell you that you're wrong about a subject, then I'm not directly attacking you. I'm attacking that one thing. And I'm not even attacking it. I'm just trying to help you. But when you come at me sideways,
game on.
I've lost some popularity in TikTok recently, and I think it's because I've had to reel back me, who I am, because I've got a bunch of strikes on there and they're going to take my account away. But I am really good at hitting you where it hurts. So I'm good at figuring that out.
Right.
I'm good at figuring out what's going to bother you. And you're just going to give it to me anyway. They all do. They all give you the ammo that you need. Why? Well, because they're thinking emotionally, not
logically.
They're not logically thinking. It's just like the arguments that I'm having currently on there. They get upset. They let me know what they're upset about, and I poke at it, until
you're bored.
Yeah, until I'm bored with it.
Okay, so if you could change 3 things on TikTok when it comes to tattooing, what would it be? The three types of content that you see around tattooing on TikTok. Well, if you could get rid of it and make creators stop doing it, what would it be?
Oh man, I can make them stop doing it. I would speeding videos up would be one thing. I don't like that. Like it or not, okay? People look at your videos of you tattooing to try to find something that they're doing,
right?
To something that they can do better or something like that. And we'll speed the videos up, and then people think that we're tattooing at that speed, so they try to do it, and that is going to. That's stupid. Why would I care about that? I don't know.
Well, I don't think that. I think that that's fair because you are in your live streams. If you guys don't follow him, you should. You go live every time you tattoo.
Yeah.
During your live streams, you're actually giving tattoo advice.
Yes.
Which it gets you hate in itself.
Yeah. By people you wouldn't expect to get hate from too.
Right. Well, dude, when I was learning, I taught myself just like you did.
Yeah.
I was in a tattoo shop. Like I had already been scratching for years before I got my piercing apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So like I had to learn by watching other artists in the shop do shit. I didn't have people to talk to. I was buying DVDs because YouTube wasn't even really a thing.
Yeah.
So like now you have artists Patreon and YouTube and TikTok. Like there's a lot of advice out there. You don't need an apprenticeship. If you have an art ability and the desire to learn, you can figure this shit out.
For sure.
But so the speed up thing, because you are so adamant about trying to give people advice and teach them how to do things, that's probably why one of those things bother you, because there's going to be people out there that see you going like this with a needle and think that that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Think that's going to do, yeah.
So
I think that if you're going to try to teach somebody what they're doing, you should have to disclose how long you've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody can just pick up a tattoo machine in a year from now and then get on TikTok, or a month.
Right.
You'll be tattooing for a month, get on TikTok and give tattooing advice.
Right.
And people that don't know any better, see somebody holding a tattoo machine doing tattoos, are going to take that advice.
Right.
The amount of terrible tattooing there is on TikTok is mind-numbingly astonishing. It's so much terrible advice that people give, and there's no way to combat it. Like, and that's why I'm like, man, I don't know, because I'm a huge believer in you say whatever you want, do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. As long as it doesn't directly impact my life or my
the people around you.
Yeah. Then I don't care. It's not my problem. It doesn't matter to me. As people ask me all the time, don't you get mad about the scratchers and this, that, and the other? First off, I have a different definition for scratcher than most do.
And that is?
My definition for scratcher is somebody that sucks at tattooing and refuses to get better. You could be tattooing in a shop for 15 years
and still be a scratcher.
And still be a fucking scratcher. Okay? I don't care what licensing you have. I don't care how long you've been doing it. You can still be a scratcher.
I agree with that.
Right? But instead it's become this derogatory term for anybody that's not good at tattooing. But somebody that's not good at tattooing, trying to learn at home like I did, but they're trying to better themselves, not a scratcher. At that point, they're a student.
Well, so all of that comes down to scarcity mindset also, though, because the idea of everybody hating scratchers and people that are tattooing out of their house, the only reason why you should hate on somebody tattooing out of their house is hygiene purposes.
Sure.
Because bloodborne pathogens and cross-contaminations, staff can jump the species barrier. There's a whole lot of things that is not taken accounting for in a home.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, get tattooed out of a house, because when you need that shit fixed, we're going to charge you 3 times the amount to fix it than what you would have paid to just get the tattoo.
Yep.
So like, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that shit.
Nope.
Now, when I was struggling as a tattoo artist in the very beginning and I didn't know any better, I did have a problem with it, because I finally got my foot in the door, and now my foot's in the door and I'm in shop and I'm doing this fucking professional thing. Like, now I have a problem with the people that were doing the same shit that I was doing before. But I was also realizing that those people were not charging the same amount of money I was charging. And I felt like they were taking clients from me. And I had one artist go, you need to change your mindset, because all of those people that are fucking up those people's tattoos, it's going to be your job to fix. And the better you get at cover-ups, the more money you're going to make.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. And then somebody else was like, bro, you were doing this 2 years ago. I'm like, I know, but I wasn't doing that. And they were like, there's no difference.
Yeah, there's no difference.
Right. And so what you're saying is the difference is somebody that's trying to become better. They're a student and not a scratcher.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, but people can be scratchers, and
The industry still.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When I never had that viewpoint, I've never thought one time negatively about a scratcher or whatever, people tattooing at home, or kitchen tattooers, what we call them,
Kitchen magicians.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I never had a problem with it, not one time, because I was that person. And if there's something that I hate more than people chewing with their mouth open, it's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And I am not a hypocrite. I learned that way, and I am not going to look down on you for learning that way.
A lot of really big name artists that are in the industry right now are all self-taught.
Yeah.
You look at people like Jeff Gogwe.
Yep, he's self-taught.
Yeah. I mean,
Taught in his house. There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
That didn't have traditional apprenticeships, just taught themselves, or went and hung around tattoo shops and watched and things like. There's a lot of them like that.
you know how much faster their career would have taken off though if they would have actually done the apprenticeship?
Oh my dude! If I'd have had if I'd have had somebody apprentice me like I apprentice my apprentices, I'd be right now 10 years ahead of where I'm at. But it took me 16 years to get where I'm at,
Right.
and I'm still not that good. But if I'd have had a real apprenticeship, and it wouldn't have taken me all those years of trial and error just to figure out the basics,
Right.
I would be light years ahead of what I was. No doubt about it.
So there's definitely value in the apprenticeship still.
Oh yeah.
So I want to touch on the 3 things that I don't want to see on TikTok anymore. And the first one is the tattoo artists that are bitching about getting tipped.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I've seen tattoo artists making videos showing other tattoo artists how to manipulate clients into giving them tips. Any tipping anything, I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah.
The fact that these people are spending their money to get tattooed by you, you don't fucking deserve a tip.
Yeah.
That is a gracious thing.
Sure.
I've enjoyed our time together. You did a really good job. Here's something extra.
Yep.
That's as far as that needs to go.
Yeah.
And fuck all of you that are in the industry that think otherwise.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
I mean that. The other thing I would like to see, the second thing is the videos of people making fun of their client to their client.
Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of that? Like people will come in and want to get a tattoo and, oh, you really want to do that? Like all of that, like
Yeah.
very slow speaking. You can tell they're not into it. Like it's just very monotone.
You're talking about there's a specific artist you're talking about.
I am. There's a couple of them that do it though. I've seen, because that one guy got big and then a lot of other tattoo artists started mimicking it.
Yeah.
Which just means that you're not an artist.
Right.
Right? If you have to mimic other people's shit to try to get views, you're not a creator. You're not a creative. You're a fucking duplicator at that point.
Yeah.
Whole other conversation. And then the third thing I would like to see is I would like to see them, like people that are getting matching tattoos or couple tattoos or name tattoos. I would like to see that stop getting shit on.
Getting shit on?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Okay. Getting your significant other's name tattooed on you is not why your relationship fell apart.
No.
No. Okay? Not a chance. You got that tattoo when you were in the midst of an oxytocin high. In case you guys don't know what that is, it's the love hormone, right? You got that tattoo then when you thought you were going to be with him forever and ever and ever, and you didn't even know that motherfucker. Or You were getting that tattoo to try to save the relationship.
Right.
Some people have babies. Some people get tattoos. That tattoo did not jinx you. It is not a bad thing. And even if you got that tattoo and everything went wrong and now you got a tattoo of some chick's name or some dude's name on you, that marks a moment in time.
Yep.
That is a memory because I don't give a shit what went down except for like extreme cases. All right, I'm going to get shit on for that one. Most of the time, you had good memories with that person.
Right.
Us as humans, we like to lean on the bad memories and forget that the good ones happen. It's the "what have you done for me lately" thing. And I have my wife's face tattooed on me.
You know that changes over time, though.
What's that?
This is actually a really studied thing. When we look back at our life and we look back at the people in our life and we think about the things that we are doing, we tend to lean into the fond, positive memories. When we have the fuck you thing going on and the vindictiveness and the hurt, it's negative.
Yeah.
So like if somebody is like coming into the shop after a divorce, like a week after a divorce, and they're hurt and they want their name covered up, it's very different than if they were coming in 4 years later and they're doing it because they're with somebody new and now, and the new person doesn't want to see it. But when you look back at your life, you are more likely to find the positive, good things that happen than you are to find the negative, because you don't want to like when you die and your life flashes before your eyes.
Basically, when you're older.
Right.
Yeah, when you're older, you have a different thought process.
Right.
Yeah, because the little things don't bother you as much. You know that you've got a certain, once you've figured out that this is all you got, that this is it, which happened to me about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago is when I realized I could die tomorrow and it's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
And that 2 years ago is when I started doing TikTok. 2 years ago is when I decided it's time to get off my ass and get my shit together, because I could die at any point in time, and I'm going to be leaving my family with a bunch of debt. I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other. You start thinking differently the older you get, when reality hits that you're not immortal. When we're young, we're immortal, you know?
Do you think that speaks to mentorship and the failing of the people that came before us?
No, I don't think anybody has that. Like, I think that's it doesn't matter who raises you unless you're like coming up in like a Buddhist temple or something like that, you know?
Right.
You're going to think you're invincible. Everybody thought they were invincible when they were young, right? You would take more risks, do dumb shit, you know, unprotected sex, all that stuff, right? You did all that stuff when you were young, but the older you get, the less of the risk you're taking, because you have more things to live for.
Right. You're more calculated.
Yeah. You pay attention more. And therefore, since you're paying attention more, you're understanding more about what you do have instead of what you don't have, right? Sometimes even still, I'll get caught up into what I don't have and forget about what I do. And I have to talk myself out of that. I have to tell myself, listen, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you'd have given anything to have what you have right now, right? And now you have it and you're not satisfied. And then, so that's a cycle that I'll go through. I don't know what it is.
We're taught that. See, this is why I asked you that, because we are taught from the time that we learned to start crawling, we're learning to crawl to prepare us to walk.
Sure.
And then we're learning to walk so that we can learn to run. And then we're learning to talk so that we can learn to communicate and convince and manipulate and do all the things that we do with our speech. And then we get ready for elementary school so that we can get ready for first grade, to get ready for second, and in middle school and high school, and then get ready for a career, college. Our entire existence is the what's next mindset.
Right.
And eventually the next thing is going to be our demise. Right. I am hard on this right now. It's been for the last year of my life. I don't want to live in then, and I don't want to live in what's coming. I want to live right now.
You're right now.
And that is where life is actually happening.
Right.
It's happening now.
I'm trying to build so I can live in right now.
You can live in right now.
You
can.
I could live in right now. Yeah, sure. I could go and do this things and do this thing and do that thing. But if I do those things, I'll have to deal with what happens tomorrow.
Okay. Well, so that's perspective.
Well, the perspective is I got kids to feed.
No, the perspective is that your perspective of living right now is going and doing these things that you were just mentioning and doing. You get to do tattoos every day with new clients. You get new interactions. You are living. If you are in the moment doing that, you are living right now. You are still planning for the future and
Yeah.
still want to have success.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But living in that moment of this is the first time I'm ever doing this tattoo on this client. This is a new experience, and you live right now. You are living your life.
I see what you're
instead
saying.
of stressing over the past or the future. That
Yeah.
right now mindset
No, I get
changes
what
the
you're
way
saying.
you live.
I get what you're saying. I kind of skip in and out of that. I kind of skip in and out of that because sometimes I'll know, okay, I have to do this right now, or I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I know that, sometimes I don't know that. Most of the time I try not to, but I am absolutely building for tomorrow. Right? I'm building for in case I'm not here tomorrow.
I get that.
That's my whole life right now is what happens to my family if I'm not here tomorrow. That's it. That's my entire mindset right now. Because as a tattoo artist, we don't get a retirement unless you start it right early. You're not taught that. You're not taught. I wasn't taught to tattoo, but nobody coming up said, "Hey, bro, you need to start putting in for retirement."
Yeah, they didn't get to that. I didn't start my Roth until I was 40.
Yeah, see?
But
So,
we started hers right away.
yeah.
So
I don't have the funds, the extra funds to start the Roth right now. But I'm working towards that. I want to do it. I need to do it. I get that. But I haven't got to that point yet. So I'm working towards that point. But right now I'm thinking every decision I make is a decision on if I do this, is it going to affect what happens tomorrow if I'm not here? You know what I mean? Every dollar I spend is a dollar away from Angie and the kids, I don't know, going back home if I die tomorrow, right? Every single cent is a little bit that I'm taking away from them if I die tomorrow.
it doesn't exhaust you.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. But when I say that the realization that I could die at any point in time and that I would be leaving them with an amazing amount of debt and no way to get home.
Well, your
is
debt when
insane.
you die is your problem.
I get that.
How old is Angie?
Same as me, 39.
So you should at least set up a Roth for her, even
Yeah.
if you don't set up one for you, because if you did die tomorrow, that money is still compounding until she retires.
Yeah.
And you can put up to $6,400 a year into it, and you can do that from your taxes.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a monthly debit. You can just reach out to the money guy and be like, all right, take this money right now.
I do have a couple of things that I've put already into practice. Like if I die tomorrow, the bank will pay off Angie's car. So she'll get her car. The rest of the cars
Doesn't matter.
luck, yeah.
Right.
But because like every car that's at my house is in my name, right? Because I bought all of them, all the cars
That's how
for the
ours is
kids
too.
and all that stuff. But I would want Angie to have that. And what I mean like that is if I spend a bunch of money frivolously, and Angie's just can't make it back home, I don't want her stuck here in Florida by herself, right? I don't want her to do that. I would rather her be somewhere where she's comfortable.
Well, you have my word. In the event that something happens, if Angie's not taken care of, I will get her back home.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But that's my whole thing. They got to bury me. They got to do this. They got to do that, you know? And I'm still young. I don't know why I'm thinking about it, but something happened and
I know what happened. Everything that's happened since you left your shop and have come to Florida until you worked at Sacred is what's happened. Dude, when you started working for me, you were driving an old ass car. Like you had to get a cosigner to buy a used minivan.
yeah.
You're not at that point anymore. So you had that. I was on top. I was doing really good and I fell back down and I had to build back up. And now that you've had to build back up, you don't want that to happen again.
Yeah.
I fucking get that, dude.
Well, I came from Illinois, and I was making $120,000 a year in Illinois, and in Illinois, $120,000 a year is like $200,000 a year here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And I came in here and went to the other side of the state, and that fell through, and I lost a car. Angie sold a bunch of her stuff, like a bunch of her dad's old firearms and antiques and stuff just to keep us afloat. I was at the bottom. I lived in a car for 2 weeks just so I could get enough money to rent a house and get the kids and bring them over here. I was at the very bottom. I did go from I'm king shit to I am nothing. and I'm begging for work, basically. You know what I mean? And then here I am again. Like you said, I couldn't even, that's because I had lost the cars, defaulted on credit cards and defaulted on the car and this, that, and the other. And it destroyed my credit, and it really destroyed everything. And now, like you said, when I first came to Sacred, I had to have a cosigner. You did that. You
I wasn't going to say that. But.
Cass did that. Got us a car, and now I've been at Sacred almost 5 years now, and I can go to the dealer. I went into the dealership a month ago and bought 3 cars and didn't even have to prove income,
Right.
because I have such good credit and I have a good standing with that company. And I bought the cars, in case you guys are wondering why does this guy need 3 cars. I have a lot of kids, and they're all hitting driving age at the same time, basically. So they all needed cars, and the top 2 that I'd already bought cars for needed new cars. Not really, but the bottom ones needed cars, right? So Angela and Dylan, they're going to get their driver's license soon. I need cars for them.
Right.
So the top 2 that I already got cars for, junk cars I bought off the marketplace, they got new cars, and then the old cars go to the next that are coming up so they can drive them. The point is that I bought all those cars and didn't even have to show income. So I'm back to that spot again. Right. I'm not blind to that.
Yeah.
I understand
that fear of having to go back. Like I know that if I had to start over right now, I've started over so many times that I've got so much knowledge now that starting back over to get back to where I am would be very easy. I would maybe have to max out a credit card or borrow money, but it would take me 6 months and I'd be right back to where I am right now.
Yeah.
Because I've done this so many times. However, I also know how shitty that was to live like that, and that fear of falling back to that and losing all of this scares the fuck out of me.
I don't even care if it was me. I'll live in squat.
Right. Well, it's not you.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything that I do for her.
Yeah.
So I get it. That's what I'm saying. Like I fucking that's that fear of like
I
getting
don't want
ready for
them
tomorrow
to have to
right
worry about it. If one of them wants a soda from the gas station, I want them to be able to have that soda from the gas station. Right. You know what I mean? And there was a point in time where it was like, no.
Yeah, we don't have the money for a soda.
You can't have anything. No, you want to stick a gum? No, you can't have it. And that's terrible. For me, at least, because I grew up with nothing, except for when I went to grandma and grandpa's or Aunt Dottie's or whatever.
Yeah.
Mom did her best, but we didn't have much. We didn't have anything. So,
well, we're 2 hours in at this point.
People are tired of listening to us anyway.
Well, we did this at 7:30 at night. So normally when we pop a YouTube live for Patreon, there's between 70 and 120 people watching.
Yeah.
We've been between 17 and 25 because it's so late.
Yeah.
And it's a Sunday night.
Football.
Is that a thing right now?
Yeah. Sunday night football.
I have no idea.
First week. Yeah.
I don't sports.
Yeah.
So.
It's the first week of Sunday night football. So
gotcha. Well, I would like to wrap up. I definitely want to do this again. I enjoy just having conversations with people. However, next week or the next time we sit down, not the time that you sit down with Peaches, but when you sit down with me, I think I'm going to have a list of things that I want to talk about so that we have a structured thing to go through. Tonight was very much about ego, but I want to talk about other facets of the tattoo industry and like young people coming up into the workforce and the business aspects of things and try to really provide actual information for people that's not.
Yeah, like I said, I want to do that seminar.
Yeah.
I want to do that seminar.
Well, I'm willing to support that. However, we got to support it. We've gotten emails for it. So.
Yeah, I want this seminar on how I deal with clients. How do you get that client to spend that money? How do you get that client to get that big tattoo? How do you get the client to do the tattoos that you want to do that make you excited? Things like that. How do you do that? That's what I want. Everybody's doing seminars about how you tattoo.
Right. But that's just one facet of the industry.
Yeah, I think you need to do the
Customer
personable
service
stuff is the most important one.
Well, get it together. I'll push the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've already gotten emails for it, so
yeah. Okay.
We just got to put it together and
I got a lot of it wrote down. I just got to
organize it.
Yeah. I might have AI do it.
Yeah. It's Chat GPT is a motherfucker.
Oh, bro.
It can help, but it can also. We'll have to get into the conversation of AI in the industry. Also,
Yeah,
that'll be another episode
for sure.
With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you the next time he decides to grace us with his presence.
That's whenever they decide to let me.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, see you guys.